And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Lakers pregame, everyone. Tonight's game is the Lakers and the Mavericks coming up here at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. So go ahead and check it out with us. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break for a live simulcast, which will also be showcased out to our awesome channels located on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and more. All right. Doobie says he's already feeling it. Welcome, Doobie. It is Gerald Glasser from the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. Also, as well, I go ahead and I cover the world of pop culture each and every week, twice a week with Pop Culture Cosmos. Also, of course, Inside Sports Fantasy Football got a show that we're going to tape on Thursday. Me and Chris Ardieri, hopefully the rest of the guys can too, can stop on by to predict what's going to go on this weekend in the NFL playoffs. Plus, also, of course, Joe Soro, he's doing his nightcap with Joe Soro thing. Go ahead and check it out late night on the Lakers Fast Break channel. And of course, also as well, he is Ox9247 at LakersBall.com. And Simblades is his company, Simblades with a Y.com. Of course, also as well, our good friends, Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet. Jamie Sweet was stopping by yesterday. So go ahead. We had a 2.5 hour extravaganza for NBA observations where he talked about the Lakers' new parentheses old starting lineup. It's the starting lineup they started the season with. They came back to it, and it looks like Darvin Ham is going to stick to that. Plus, he's going to try and stick to this 9-man rotation for now, according to his latest statements. So be prepared for that one way or the other. But go ahead and check out what the guys from the Lakerholics crew have to say at Lakerholics.com. Plus, also as well, our good friends, Lakers in 5. Daniel Barry Sports Highlight. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Also as well, of course, our good friend, John Costa from Lakers Corner and Clutch Talk, Larry Lakers Dribbling Chit Chat, the John McCalian channel, Empire Jeff TV. All great places to go. And speaking of great places to go, please like and subscribe today. Please support us any which way you can. If you're on Facebook, Twitch, like us and follow us so you get the latest notifications on when we go live. Like Nestorio. Appreciate it, Nestorio. You liking the video on Facebook. Cannot thank you enough for supporting us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. It is the Lakers and Mavs coming up tonight at 5:30 p.m. Pacific and 8:30 p.m. Eastern. No major injuries right now as far as for the Lakers. Cam Reddish is still out with a bum knee. Of course, everybody also knows Gabe Vincent is out for a while as well, but looks like LeBron and AD for this particular nationally televised matchup. Wouldn't you know, they feel fresh as a daisy and are ready to go to battle against each other. And Luka Doncic will be playing. So go ahead and check out the game along with us at playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. But here today to go ahead and discuss some of the great things. We hope to get a guest in here. We're not sure if he is going to be able to make it, but we will go ahead and announce him once he's here. Good man indeed. It is the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to go ahead and stop on by to give you the latest at NBA news, including a tragic death and a big trade. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you here, along with previewing the Lakers and Mavs, some major news stories we need to cover in the world of NBA. Looking sharp, looking clean, my friend. There you go. All right, absolutely ready to rock and roll tonight on the Lakers Fast Break, my friend.
Amazing, Gerald. Yeah, it's we're celebratory about another LFB show. It's with heavy hearts. Look, basketball is a family, man. It really is, and it just goes beyond the lines. And condolences to the Warriors family right now on the just sudden and tragic loss of Dejan Milojevic. This is really sad news, Gerald. 46 years old, truly a mentor to a lot of people. Look, former Laker Ivica Zubac credits Decky with his development as a young Serbian basketball player. And I know in interviews he considered him his big brother. So, I mean, Zubac has lost his big brother today. Um, I also know that the Joker is beyond devastated because they were really good friends as well.
Absolutely.
And
Happened last night at a team dinner. He had a heart attack then. He was rushed to the hospital. I know that the Warriors stayed overnight at the hospital, but yes, unfortunately, he passed away over the evening. And they have canceled. I know it's rough, Magic Man, especially for that community, especially for that team. Uh, they did cancel their game tonight. So there is no Golden State game on the queue. We're hoping to get Rich Chu from Let's Go Warriors to describe what he meant to their community. But yeah, just a tragic loss in the NBA circles, and definitely our hearts at the Lakers fast break. They are competitors, but still our hearts go out to them at the Golden State Warriors
it's
organization nonetheless.
absolutely, Gerald. I mean, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon in basketball, as you know, from community to community. I just recently saw Mike Brown, and Mike was desperately holding back tears, just trying to put on a brave front for the Sacramento Kings organization. But obviously,
Absolutely.
Mike's association with the Warriors and Decky, um, he was beyond devastated, Gerald. So we know Mike Brown went back into his office and obviously had a few minutes and needed to get that out.
Two rough days for Mike Brown. First, he gets fined $50,000 for his laptop showcase in regards to calls, and now loses a former coach who he coached alongside with as an assistant coach on the Golden State Warriors. So very tragic news there. Again, our hearts go out to the family and also as well the organization, the Golden State Warriors. But for everyone else except for the Warriors tonight, at their game, which has been postponed to a later date, the show must go on. And the topic is, of course, the NBA. And before we get into previewing tonight's game, big time prime time matchup with the Lakers and also as well the Dallas Mavericks on ABC, wherever you get your television. It is, of course, the NBA trade everybody's talking about right now. The trade season is now upon us officially. Ho ho! It is Pascal Siakam going to the Indiana Pacers. I'm going to go ahead and give everybody a breakdown of what happened today. Earlier today, the Pacers get the guy that they've been looking for, Pascal Siakam. In return, the Toronto Raptors get Bruce Brown. So Bruce Brown, who signed that big, massive, upfront loaded contract, after winning all the glory with the Denver Nuggets, he gets traded to the Toronto Raptors along with Jordan Nwora, Kira Lewis from the New Orleans Pelicans, and 3 first-round draft picks. The Pelicans get a second-round draft pick via Indiana. The Raptors, as far as the 3 first-round draft picks, is a 24 from Indiana, a 26 from Indiana, and a 24 pick that is the lesser of whatever Utah, Houston, Clippers, OKC first-round pick there. So that one is still yet to be determined. It is essentially 3 first-round picks, Magic Man. Kira Lewis is being thrown in there because, as if you did not hear the Hoop Collective earlier today and some other podcasts today in regards to possible trade movement by teams, when it came down to the New Orleans Pelicans, it is all about saving money for them. And they were just in that range, I think $4 million over the cap. Mm-hmm. And Kira Lewis conveniently has a $5.5 salary. So he is not playing consistent time there anyways. So out the door he goes. Now New Orleans, who has never paid the tax, may look like they may not pay the tax again this year, my friend.
Absolutely, Gerald. That's kind of the MO of that ownership and any front office that is within the organization. The mandate is do not go over the cap. We are a small market team. And I mean, I don't foresee them going over it, even in the Zion era, Gerald. And I mean, if you are if you are that particular player or Brandon Ingram, you must think, man, this team will just not spend the bucks to try and vault us into contendership.
Well, they might have to if once they sign all those extensions here not this year, but starting next year and the year after, those contracts of Williamson, all the other players that are on the team, as far as maybe McCollum might have to re-up, as far as Brandon Ingram, you've got to make hard decisions there. But as for now, just like the Lakers, which we'll get into a moment, if you didn't hear the Hoop Collective again, very interesting listening of what the Lakers might do, similar to what we're seeing with the New Orleans Pelicans. So as of now, the New Orleans Pelicans are under the salary cap. But let's get back to the Pascal Siakam side of things, my friend. We talked about a little bit about yesterday when we discussed it with Alfred Esmond. I truly appreciate him stopping by. Check out his great work at fansided.com. But when it comes right down to it, my friend, Pascal Siakam, he doesn't fit well on every team because he doesn't shoot well enough. But the guy can score. The guy is a pretty good sized wing, 6'7", 6'8", in that range, but pretty good size. Can rebound, can play some D, can also go ahead and fill it up. Cannot shoot and stretch the ball out for you, but my gosh, on a team like Indiana where all they do is score, he fits right in, my friend. He fits right in.
He fits right in, Gerald. It's like a glove that fits a hand perfectly.
Their scoring average might actually go up.
Yeah, they actually don't need him to be a shooter on that team. You have Miles Turner, who can bomb away.
Buddy Hield's still there,
and Buddy Hield is still there. You don't need him to shoot. As far as the front court goes, he's a really good fit beside either Obi Toppin, Walker, or Miles Turner. You can play him with pretty much all three of those guys. And Gerald, the Pacers could play big or small now, depending on the matchup. You need him to do what he did during the 2018-2019 season for the Toronto Raptors, and that is try and be an effective defender as either guarding a smaller three or an average four, which he's capable of doing. You also need him to be a fantastic finisher in transition. And with Tyrese Halliburton, Gerald, I don't think it'll take long for him to find chemistry with him on the break. Yeah, and as we know, I mean, Indiana, Halliburton, Toppin, throwing Buddy Hield, a couple other guys. You really don't need Siakam to be that rebounder that he's not anyway. So he fits a certain style that they want to play, and we're going to see how it works out because, again, he's entering unrestricted free agency this summer. So it's not a given that he stays a Pacer. However, you gave up 3 first-round picks, which says that you probably want to take a real long look at the fit here. As you said, Gerald, I expect the scoring to stay in the median range where Indiana is, maybe for the first 3 to 5 games. And then we're probably going to likely see, as Gerald has said, a takeoff point where, they go from averaging 132 to maybe 140 here. It's going to be like Doug Moe's Denver Nugget teams in the 80s. They're just going to try and beat you 143, 138 just about every game.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, the Pacers got Siakam. Again, they do have to re-sign him. That's the thing. That's the caveat there. They did give up the picks. But for the players that they gave up, none of them really gave them a huge scoring punch. So Siakam gives them even more scoring. Not necessarily what they needed, but I'll tell you what, it's something that they have definitely had to look into, and we'll see what happens. I mean, their plan is there. Their blueprint is there to outscore everyone out there indeed. But wanted to go ahead and bring in a good friend of the show. He's been on the show before. It is to honor, obviously, what happened in regards to the Warriors. It is Rich True from Let's Go Warriors. Rich, great to have you here. We, again, express our deepest condolences to the entire Warriors family, which I know you are a close part of. And again, a very tragic situation. And hopefully things will be okay for the future of the Golden State Warriors.
Good to be here. Thank you, Sean, for the invite. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be invited. But yeah, it's a tough day. Um, and for me, I didn't know Decky personally. I do recall everything that they say is absolutely true. Like always smiling. You're at practice and you see them every day. At least when I used to cover practices and stuff, and always smiling. And it's just tough to lose somebody that you see all the time. And so I think I know for me personally, it's kind of like I'm more heartbroken that the team is heartbroken, and I know some of the guys on the coaching staff and the training staff, and I just my heart goes out because they're heartbroken. And yeah, it's a tough day for the Warriors family.
Magic.
Uh, y- Absolutely, Rich. We our souls cry for Decky. As you said, um, I just heard Mike Brown's press conference, and he was choked up. And Mike is a strong man, and he really tried to put on a brave front for it, but you could tell. I mean, he was heartbroken as well. He described Decky as like he said the term is often overused, but it fits Decky as the big teddy bear.
Mm,
I'm just wondering if that's the kind of description you would use to describe him as far as your interaction with members of the Warrior staff.
yeah,
Because I mean, when you describe somebody who's just always got a smile on their face
yep,
and always warm and energetic, that's a huge loss. I mean,
yeah,
every life is significant and holds meaning, Rich. Uh, but there are just some people who are just their souls are bare to the world, and it just feels that that's who Decky was. And I'm just
yep,
wondering if you kind of get the same description that Mike gave of Decky.
absolutely. It's like you don't even that the teddy bear description is just so on point, right? Like you don't need to you see a giant teddy bear in the room. It's like you don't even need to go hug it. You just know the type of joy that it brings to people. And all the times that I saw him working with James Wiseman, man, and Kevon Looney, but the ones you remember are the ones with James Wiseman, just giving him instructions. And yeah, you're going to see that smile come out as well. And it's like, I mean, has there been a Warrior in recent memory that has been through the struggles on the court as James Wiseman? And for Decky to dedicate all his time, or a lot of his time, to the centers, and especially James, uh man, I feel really privileged to have seen that. And you look on Instagram, man, Partisan Belgrade, their Instagram account, first of all, like just multiple posts of Decky, and then they announced that their game on January 22nd is going to be free. Any fan can attend.
That's wonderful. That
Wow.
is wonderful. That I'm so enthusiastic about that news. That is just a wonderful gesture by this organization. I mean, hats off to them.
So the Serbian basketball community, wow. You just look at their reverence. Man,
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Rich. I remember when the Lakers drafted Ivica Zubats, and
yeah,
Zubats specifically said in that first interview, they asked him, who are some of your biggest influences, and one of the first names out of his mouth was Decky.
yeah,
Decky's been like a big brother to me, and I know he's crushed. I also know that the Joker was extremely close to Decky, and he's crushed as well. So, like you said, you know, the Serbian community is in mourning, and you know, we share their condolences, and we just pass along our deepest sympathies. And you know, one thing I think that's important, Rich, especially with me right now, dealing with the loss of my mother recently, is that
Condolences, man.
thank you, Rich. I really appreciate it, man. I think one of the most important aspects that we can extrapolate from a loss is, as long as we keep talking about them and keep their
Yeah.
memories alive, they're never really gone. They're always going to be a part of us. And Decky will always be a part of the Warriors as long as Warriors fans and the basketball community keeps his memory alive.
That's awesome. Yeah. You put that perfectly. I think you're absolutely right. And again, I just feel for the guys. You know, you see the Instagram story posts of Jonathan Kuminga, of Brandon Pajemski, Trace Jackson Davis. I'm sure we're going to get some really heartfelt posts by like Steph and Klay and Draymond, some of the veterans pretty soon. But like, yeah, you just feel for them. And because he's literally part of the team. They're every day at the dinners that they talked about, where tragically he had the heart attack. And yeah, so you know, it's just it's just good to talk out loud about all these things. And I'm just amazed now by like just the basketball community coming together. I saw, you know, I follow all the beat writers of the NBA. The Pistons honored Decky on the Jumbotron just now before their game, had a moment of silence. And yeah, his contributions as a coach of many an NBA player. I saw a couple really awesome tweets. One by Kevin Dana, the announcer for the Santa Cruz Warriors, who fills in every now and then on the Golden State Warriors every once in a blue moon. And he was like, you know, before Decky got to the agency that he was working with, I think it's called Mega. There had only been one Serbian drafted in the NBA. After he joined Mega, 11 NBA players out of Serbia. So just, I mean, he has really made a lot of contributions. Also, the wing on the OKC, Mičić, he also posted on Instagram as well. So you get to see, it's like, wow, he was more than an assistant coach for the Warriors. He was really, you know, they're letting fans in for free to honor him in Belgrade. That is crazy. You're talking about what is that? 15,000 people?
Yes. Yeah, that's right, Rich.
The Instagram post says, please wear black to honor him. It's just wow. So I feel like just us coming together all together to remember him is pretty awesome. And just like you said, keep him in our memories. Yeah, I still, yeah, I told you that I was going to go do errands and stuff. Really, it was just getting a bite to eat because I really hadn't eaten all day, because you get the news in the morning and you're just like, oh. And then you want to cover the news. You want to make sure you cover all bases. It was crazy because the Serbian news outlet Sport Club, spelled with a K, was the first to post that he had passed away. And we were like, wait a minute, is that for real? And then there was confirmation. And so there was a lot of things moving. And so I had gone out to grab a bite to eat, but I also just wanted to sit down and look at some of my old videos that had Decky in the background, kind of. And most of them I labeled. Like you can literally go search "Let's Go Warriors" Milojevic, and if he figured prominently in the background, I actually put him in the title, mostly because obviously the biggest hits were when he was working with Wiseman. But there are a few, and it's just like, oh man, because he was there every day. He was a fixture with the Warriors. So yeah, it's tough.
Rest in peace, Decky. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
rest in peace. I hope your soul went peacefully, and you're in a better place, Decky. And we love you. We miss you. We'll always remember you. I know I will. I will always shout out Decky when we have an opportunity to do that, Rich, because as we said, as long as you keep someone's memory alive, they're never really gone.
And
Absolutely.
feel so blessed and thankful for you guys for honoring him, inviting me on. It just goes to show you how impactful the game of basketball is around the world. Here we are, Lakers and Warriors, right? It's like bitter rivals.
Exactly.
We're coming together.
And Rich, while we have you on here, and
Yeah.
I think in honor of Decky, he'd love us to
Mhm.
talk about the game of basketball.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about the Pascal Siakam trade, and of
Yeah.
course, there were a lot of rumors linking the Warriors to Pascal Siakam, Rich, and
Yep.
I heard your thoughts on what you thought of that potential marriage. But now that Siakam is a Pacer,
Yeah.
how do you see that changing kind of the trajectory or the compass, so to speak, of where the Warriors are right now? Because the
Yep.
Warriors and Lakers are kind of in the same boat, where
Yep.
we've both got leaky boats.
Yep.
Different reasons for the leaky boats, right, Gerald? But what do you think now is the move for the Warriors to make, Rich?
Yeah. We got a few minutes to talk about this because,
Of
oh
course.
man,
Yes, sir.
tell you what, Siakam had been growing on me. So let me take you through the steps. The first thought I had was, because you and I and Gerald, obviously, we get to see Siakam twice a year. That's not a lot. So at first I was like, well, the Raptors, they lost Kawhi, then they went to the playoffs. Siakam was all NBA. He was awesome that year. And then what happened to the Raptors? And it's like, well, if he was really that good and worthy of a $38 million contract, don't you think they'd be higher in the standings? And then I thought about it some more. I go, wait a minute. So then Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area, tweets out something to the effect of, oh, I know someone who has coveted Siakam after it was made known. After OG Anunoby got traded, then the next step was, oh, maybe Masai wants to trade Siakam as well, finally, right? And Monty Pope tweets that out. He goes, oh, I know a management that has coveted Siakam. I'm thinking, we've coveted Siakam? I mean, I kind of heard that. And then I went digging around, and I actually wrote this on the website. I found out that when Siakam shoots 6 or more threes in a game, he's over 40%, shockingly. So
That is shocking.
Volume,
that is shocking.
The volume shooters. And the funny thing is I would have never thought to go through the trouble of looking that up if it weren't for Travis Walton, Draymond's trainer. He came onto our live stream, and we were saying, oh, what is it about Draymond's three-point shooting? He goes, Rich, he just doesn't get that many shots. So now what we're working on is for him to shoot more in a game to at least get more in rhythm. Lo and behold, Draymond's shooting over 40% when he shoots like 4 threes and stuff like that. So that kind of gave me the inception of looking up Siakam's volume 3-point shooting stats. And I go, is that why Warriors management covets him? And then you think about it more and you go, well, you know what? Siakam does a hell of a job complimenting the superstar, does he not? I mean, he certainly did that in 2019 with Kawhi. And every time we got a stop against Toronto, maybe we stopped Kawhi, but then it'd be Siakam, and give credit where credit's due, Fred VanVleet killed us. That series, it was Kawhi's going to be Kawhi, but it was freaking Siakam and Fred VanVleet. Granted, Kevin Durant was injured, but still, right? And you're just like, man, these guys, right? So I started, Siakam really grew on me. And then I had that volume 3-point shooter data. All right, so then how do you actually put that deal together? And you're thinking, well, Masai drives a hard bargain. He's going to be like Kuminga or no deal type of deal, right? And then Kuminga starts having these awesome games, and everybody on our chat's like, no, we cannot trade Kuminga. And we're all in agreement on that. And then we're thinking, well, Moody is probably expendable, okay? And most GMs should probably know. I mean, you figure they watch every game. Moody's been playing pretty much lights out. He's awesome. He hustles. He gets offensive rebounds. He's a knockdown shooter when he's in rhythm. So we're like, all right, what? Wiggins and Kuminga for Siakam, maybe, and some people were like, well, we're desperate, right? And we want to make it a contender. That's the whole point, is to make us a contender. Siakam for, go ahead and throw in Kuminga and Wiggins. A prominent radio host in the Bay was saying that. And I thought about it, but then Kuminga started playing so well. And it's like, you never want to get back in the position of, like rebuilding, like the Pistons and stuff. So like, Steph, Klay, and Dre, they're going to fade into the sunset at some point. And do you want to really have nothing after that? So all of us were thinking, yeah, we can't trade Kuminga, but all right, maybe Moody. And then you read the articles from the Toronto beat writers like Michael Grange, Ed Corrine, and they're saying, Masai doesn't want Wiggins, too long of a contract. So we're like, oh, okay, it's probably not happening. Then you have this Pacers deal. Oh, and then Jake Fisher, give credit where credit's due. He's like, the Warriors don't want to part with Moody either. And so we, like, the fan base of the Warriors kind of likes to keep our guys, unless you're on Twitter and you're the outrage type, you always want to trade this, trade that, fire Steve Kerr, et cetera, right? But us, more realistic people, we know we can play better, and we know Moody just hasn't gotten minutes because he had to play behind Klay, and Brandon Podziemski's playing lights out, so that kind of messes with his rotation. Then he got injured a couple weeks ago, Moody did, or last week. So, but now the deal's done for Siakam, and Jake Fisher said that we didn't want to get rid of Moody. That speaks volumes. Wait a minute. We didn't want to trade Moody. That means, what does that mean in terms of Klay? Right. So all of these things come into play, but I think the one good feeling that Warriors can take away is that, hey, we have faith in Moody as well as Kuminga. And, that feels good. Yes, we're not playing well at all. And we gotta talk about that. Like, oh, how you've been doing, Magic Man and Gerald? You're like right there in front of us in the standings. And we're freaking 4 games under 500. It's just like, so we got to talk about that as well. So that's my long-winded thing on Siakam, which told us we're not. It's like, I'm glad that happened, and I'm glad Jake Fisher and all the other reporters mentioned that it should be Kuminga, it might be Moody, and it wasn't. And I don't know. I kind of look at it. Granted, it was written somewhere. I think it was Ed Corrine of Raptors beat writer that Masai really didn't want Wiggins. But all of my I got a Lakers friend named Mark. He was like, wouldn't Wiggins and Moody have been better than what they got? So we're just kind of like, all right, well, okay. So I'm happy. We're past that phase. We want to keep Moody and Kuminga, even though we suck right now. But hey.
And now the other ripple effect, Rich, that a lot of people are paying attention to is what happens with Klay Thompson now.
Right. I know.
What's your pulse
gosh.
on what happens with Klay, Rich?
So, okay, a couple things on this. First off, I should say, as it relates to Decky today, it was really odd because I usually have like people within the Warriors circle checking out my Instagram stories. You can go on the Instagram and see who's seen the things, and nothing from them. Like they hadn't even, right. So there's that, and I do have some people that I talk with regularly that have ties to certain players. And last time I checked, Klay's going to be a Warrior. I mean, he just is. That type of deal. So I think he'll stay with the Warriors, like no matter what. Joe Lacob might ask for a huge discount, especially now that, see all the ramifications. Now that we're probably going to go with the second contracts for Kuminga and Moody, that's going to inflate the salary cap table. So Klay's going to have to obviously definitely take a discount from 43 million, but like to what level? Is it going to be like below Draymond's? Is it going to be at Draymond? How does that affect the second apron? But all in all, all indications are that Klay wants to come back no matter what. So I would lean towards that.
Once again, it is Rich True from Let's Go Warriors. Please, if you're a Golden State Warriors fan, go ahead and check out what he's doing today at Let's Go Warriors right there on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry. I just wanted to go ahead and make sure.
Yeah, Rich, just I know the game was suspended for the Warriors tonight, but just your eagle eye on what you would look for as just a casual observer tonight with the Lakers and Mavs. What have you seen out of the Lakers this year? And we want your unabashed, just brutal opinion, Rich, because that's what LFB delivers. So, what in your estimation? I mean, we got your thoughts originally on where you thought you saw the Lakers, but has the play on the court and necessarily Darvin Ham's coaching changed your outlook on the Lakers, and how do you see them in the Western Conference right now?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty surprising. I mean, man, it's really hard to put all together. And no one's really asked me that either. I'm so, neck deep in Warriors. So it's kind of just pop your head up and see what's up, check in with my Lakers buddy, Mark. And Mark's been out with pneumonia too. So he's okay.
First up to Mark. Get well, Mark.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten the scoop on why the heck you guys are right above us in the standings. But yeah, I heard about the Shams saying, 6 sources don't like Darvin Ham's rotations and circus stuff like that. And it's like, it's just really how volatile will the locker room be, and haven't heard anything since. So I imagine that Darvin's got things back in good order. And also I heard your starting lineup is now the same as it was before. Like Austin Reeves is starting again. So it's like, I look at that and I go, man, we're going through the same shit,
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Like,
and Rich, obviously, you're familiar with D'Angelo Russell's game from his former tenure as a Warrior.
Yeah.
He's often been kind of a source of ire for Laker fans, so to speak, at least last year. This year, D'Angelo really hasn't been an issue. So like in respect to what you see out of Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell, what you give up defensively, you get a lot offensively. And it's interesting you pointed out the kind of locker room tension, because it almost seems as though even though the records are kind of similar, like in the same ballpark, the
Yeah.
Warriors don't have the reputation as
Yeah.
being kind of a fractured locker room as
Exactly.
opposed to the Lakers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that might be kind of a taproot
Yeah.
onto the issues, because it's more as if, the Warriors are trying to find a balance with, an aging Steph and an aging Klay, right?
Yeah.
And the Lakers similarly, we built this team for a 29-year-old LeBron, Rich, not a 39-year-old LeBron, as
Oh,
Gerald
interesting.
has pointed out for the past 16 months.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
So
a great take.
do you kind of see a similarity there, that maybe just based on the vicissitudes of the salary cap and the
Yeah.
constraints that it causes with teams like the Warriors and Lakers, combined with your aging superstars, that
Yeah.
it just kind of complicates things? It almost gums
Yeah.
up the works, as
Yeah.
if you want a quick fix, right?
All right, so I'm gonna quote Andre Iguodala. He always says everything is a gift and a curse. For us, locker room wise, the gift and the curse with Steve Kerr is people think that he can't do the X's and O's, a la Eric Spoelstra, et cetera, et cetera. He's more of the touchy-feely type, more the nurturing type, and it shows. And he admits that on the podium all the time, where he's having a talk with somebody every single day. And that's just his style of getting through the 82 game season. And sometimes I do think it comes at the expense of certain X's and O's. Um, we lost to Memphis the other night, and Vince Williams top blocked Steph all night. And maybe Steph was a little fatigued from the road trip as well. You could see him just kind of accepting the top block, and the rest of you play 4-on-4. And then finally they ran a play where Steph set an up screen being top blocked by Vince Williams, set the screen for Draymond's guy. Draymond had the lane, but he missed the layup because Gigi Jackson was playing out of his mind as well and disrupted the shot. I go, guys, why not just run Steph and JK pick and roll, have Steph pick JK's man. You got JK running down. Well, we're just not equipped to do that because we have so much on our plate. The whole Draymond thing, it's messed with us all over. We've lost the pride on defense, and just we have too many other things to worry about. Taylor Jenkins is going to come in with the janky defense and just brilliant game plan for that one game. I mean, it's not just Steve Kerr. It's any coach would have difficulty adjusting to that. But at the same time, it's like, hello, JK, Steph, pick and roll. What's the problem? So it's that. So the gift and the curse of the Lakers, the way I see it, just as a distant observer, popping my head up, seeing you guys, it's just, and then Sham's 6 sources in the locker room. It's just like, I mean, that's what you get when you have LeBron. The great thing about LeBron is that he can win any game, and he can, that particular game, his foot might not be sore, and him and AD will 2 guys will lead the team to a win. The curse with that is that Shams is going to say he has 6 sources because why? Because it's LeBron, of course. He probably has the most sources in any locker room just because it's LeBron. So, I just kind of see it as, I mean, that's kind of what you
gift
get.
and a curse. I like that, Rich. That was a
Iguodala
great
always
quote.
says that every single time he gets up on the podium.
Absolutely.
So that's how I kind of look at you guys. But I don't really know what's going on with you guys, X's and O's. But I will say this. The NBA has gotten freaking better. Like old teams like us, we're feeling it this season. Like,
so are we.
the Houston Rockets. Obviously,
Oh.
OKC is unbelievable. OKC,
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Rich, we were up 13 in the 4th quarter with 3.5 minutes left, and we were still white knuckling it because there was just our self-confidence is in the toilet right now, as far as quality games against quality opponents. It just seems that
Or no breaks, man.
yeah, none, man. And it just seems that the Lakers either play down to their competition,
Yeah.
or they rise up against better teams. And I mean, you know as well as we do, Rich, when you have a veteran laden team, that's a gift and a curse too, because oftentimes you think, well, you know what? We don't need to put it in third gear right now. We could just still do about 60 in that first one. But I mean, the third quarter comes around, Rich, and there's 3 minutes left. You think you could put it in third, and you just don't have the gas at the end.
No, yeah. So I think we're kind of going through that, both of us, in terms of like the veterans there's the gift and the curse of being veterans. And just, I'm so impressed by the rest of the NBA. Where do these long athletic dudes come from? Vince Williams, I literally had not heard of him before the other night's game. And this guy played awesome defense on Steph. And then Gigi Jackson in the middle of the game, we're going, who is this guy? I look up his stats. South Carolina, 32% three-point shooter throughout college. Like, what's happening here? And then Draymond goes on the podium post-game and he says, if I was one of those kids, I'd be up for playing the Golden State Warriors too. I would make all of my shots as well. And I'm sure you guys are getting some of that too against some of these younger teams, like probably OKC was a tough one. I think he pulled that one out, right? But still, like, oh my goodness, these guys are just, they're so good. I don't know if you played the Orlando Magic, but beware.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we had our hands full twice. We barely beat them at home, and then they chopped us up at the Amway Center. They cut us up really badly. That's another one. We were recently in Utah, Rich, and I wasn't a fan of Colin Sexton since his time at Alabama. That being said, he could put the ball in the hole, and he just had his way with us on Saturday. Not to mention Lauri Markkanen, who's probably the most. I would say Lauri Markkanen right now, Rich, is probably the most coveted player out there for.
Oh, we covered him a lot.
Yeah, the other 29 teams.
He would be a perfect fit for Steve.
Yeah. Oh, and Danny Ainge is just kind of licking his chops right now because he's in an advantageous position again with Lauri Markkanen. He can decide to. He's up for a renegotiated extension similar to what Sabonis got with the Kings, or he could decide to trade him for, I don't know, what would you have to give up right now for Lauri Markkanen? Probably, at least if you're giving up 3 first-round picks for Siakam, that's a minimum for Markkanen. Probably one more, right, Gerald?
Yes.
Yeah. So around 4 first-round picks plus probably a really good young player plus something else probably. So, I mean, it's gonna cost you a lot. Oh, go ahead, Rich.
My co-host Dean had watched the Keith Smith podcast. I forget the name of it. Sorry, Keith Smith. But they weeks ago mentioned that, Ainge might be okay with it if it's 5 picks. so that's and then I was like, all right, Dean, come up with some crazy scenario where we end up with Markkanen. So I asked him to do that, and he came up with it, but it had to be like a 3-team trade, and we actually had to get Levine from Chicago and like all these.
And the funny thing is, Rich, I mean, if Sam Presti picked up the phone right now and
I know, right?
speaking to Danny Ainge, 5, that's it? That's all you want? Right, Gerald?
Yep.
I could give up 5.
I'd be very worried if they did, but yeah, man, I'm already worried about OKC, and they're probably going to improve by the trade deadline roster wise, aren't they?
Absolutely, Rich. And just circling back to the Siakam rumors, there were rumors about OKC possibly being on him, but he never seemed like a fit for them. It just they need a really versatile 4, and Markkanen fits the the mode.
Yeah. Marketing, man. I like Utah's playing better too. So wouldn't the Jazz fans be crushed if they traded him out? So I don't know. We'll just see what happens, and that's the approach I'm taking with Mike Dunleavy and the Warriors. It's like, all right, my brain is fried. I did the Lauri Markkanen impossible deal. All right, we put that scenario on our website for fans to read. We were doing Siakam, and then all these things happen, and all right, looks like we want to keep Kuminga and Moody for the long term. All right, cool. I'm fried. I'm done with it. I don't want to come up with trade scenarios like my commenters have been asking. I just told them, hey, look, let's just put our trust in Dunleavy. I know things are stagnant right now. We're 18-22. But the thing is I don't know about. I'd love to hear your side on this for the Lakers, just to educate me on what's going on over there. But the one thing that we can say as an excuse, Draymond, even when he was playing, so people in our comments would be like, yeah, but we were losing even with him. Well, hold on. I mean, 22 games in, Draymond had missed 11 of those games if you count being ejected with 2 technical fouls or the flagrant twos. Like, how do you have a sample size of 11 games and go, oh yeah, that's our team. Yeah, we suck now. Like, yeah, the trinity of Steph, Klay, and Draymond, they can't do it anymore. You can't. So then he gets suspended, indefinitely like this, and we're reeling, and we can't really play very good point of attack defense because, Kuminga is athletic, but he jabs too much. He gambles that way. Damian Lillard easily goes this way, and then there's no trust. One thing I've noticed, we don't trust Kuminga in the pick and roll. Hopefully that'll change soon, but like we double and then we leave CJ McCollum open. Like, it's just unthinkable. But we're doing that because our point of attack defense sucks, just like Draymond said on the podium the other night. And it's been because of Draymond. And Draymond goes on his podcast and he goes, well, number one reason why we suck is because I haven't been there. So I got to take ownership of it. And he does. But that's the harsh reality of it, is we just haven't had the sample size with Steph, Klay, and Dre, and we're running out of time. I wrote that in another article. I said, before the Memphis game, we better go like 7-3 in the next 10 games before the trade deadline. Otherwise, it's almost like Dunleavy has to do something because this is just broken or whatever. So then we lose to Memphis. Then Utah gets postponed. I still think we got to just rack up a few wins here. I still think we got to beat Atlanta twice coming up. I mean, come on. If you can't beat Memphis, we play Memphis again as well. We can't beat Memphis, Atlanta, and you guys. I said we got to beat the Lakers. I mean, you're right there in the standings. If we can't beat the next team in the standings, then maybe we do suck, and then maybe it's time to make a change. But overall, I'm sure glad that Dunleavy is getting paid to do this, because you can't even pay me for the stress. I don't want to deal with that. It's just too stressful coming up.
Oh, Rich, tell us about it. We've lost to the Spurs. We've lost to the Grizzlies. It's kind of been sort of a Bumpy the Clown show at times, especially against these teams. And, I'm not going to speak for our podfather, but I think if you had to pin the ears back and ask a Lakers fan with sodium pentothal, what's the bugaboo about the Lakers? I think, it stems from, and it's not even, you can't even put this on Darvin Ham, Rich. I think this is the result of Rob Pelinka's poor roster construction. And, Gerald's often said it again. He has a vision that somehow LeBron is still 30 years old and in his prime, and you can just surround him with one-dimensional players, and he can figure it out. The fact of the matter is that, you've been relying on Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt, and while, at times both of those guys are pretty good defenders, Rich.
Yeah.
They're very one-dimensional. Jared Vanderbilt is essentially, shouldn't have an opportunity to dribble the ball. Poor finisher at the rim.
Yeah.
Reddish couldn't shoot himself out of a broadside barn for the first 15 games. Picked it up a little bit, but then it's kind of regressed again, right, Gerald?
Yes, absolutely.
So, Rich,
It makes
essentially,
sense now.
yeah, the Lakers have been playing either 3-on-5 or 4-on-5 on offense, right, Gerald? And it's just been you can't overcome that in the NBA today, as you said, Rich. The length, the speed.
So, who are you looking at in the trade market maybe to add that offense?
Well, so a couple of names that have been swirling around have been DeJounte Murray from Atlanta. We've also looked to see if Pelinka would expand something like that. If you could get a combination of him plus either a Clint Capella or a Bogdanovich. Yeah.
Bojan from Detroit.
Bojan.
Oh, we loved him last year. That was the one guy that Dean's awesome at coming up with trade targets.
But yeah, Bojan would be a tremendous third option for the Lakers.
Yeah.
And the other couple names have been circling around. Again, we mentioned Colin Sexton, although he doesn't fit like another ISO scorer. So we'd add Colin Sexton to a lineup with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, Gerald. That is not a good mix there. And the other guy is Tyus Jones as well, Rich, who I think would be the absolute perfect point guard off the bench for the Lakers. I think he would steady the bench and would accentuate others on. It's really interesting, man. We're gonna find out soon because I think teams like Washington, teams like Chicago are going to be working the phones tremendously. And I mean, Rich, we pine for Alex Caruso on the LFB.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we're not the only Laker. We're pretty much every Laker site that pines for Alex Caruso because that was just of all the moves that were made, and the Russell Westbrook trade, Rich, will go down as the worst in Los Angeles Lakers history because it's put us in this position once again, and it's likely it's going to affect us for at least one more year. But letting go of Alex Caruso and hitching your wagon to Talen Horton-Tucker, who can't get off the bench for Will Hardy, who seemingly would play everybody with a pulse except for THT, was really a bad move in hindsight.
Zooming back up real quick, 64,000 feet. You guys beat us, made it to the Western Conference Finals, though. So what was the difference? I mean, Dennis Schroeder, I know he was a difference against us, but like that type of guy,
it was a lot of scheming against D'Angelo Russell and Jared Vanderbilt. Rich, they were able to play those guys off the floor, and Darvin Ham seemingly just could not find any adjustments because of I mean, Mike Malone is the coach, Rich, but I think the brilliant mind on that staff is David Adelman. I think he's going to be
really?
Yeah, he's just a brilliant offensive mind. I think he's going to be the next brilliant young head coach in the NBA.
That's Rick Adelman's son, right?
That is Rick Adelman's son. Yeah. So, I mean, he basically runs kind of a hybrid 5-out, 4-corner offense that really flummoxed us in that Western Conference Finals, right, Gerald? It just seemed that there were periods and minutes where we were able to keep up with them, but eventually they were able to just barnstorm us out of the building.
Man. All right. Yeah. If you don't mind, I wanted to loop back to Klay.
Sure. Before we head on out, because we're just about to go on playback for the Lakers Warriors, but go on Lakers and Mavs. Excuse me. Go ahead, Rich.
Ending out with Klay is that what was I going to say? That I've noticed that it's improved recently, but he was really shooting badly whenever we lost. And so it's like whatever he does out there on the court has more of an effect now, especially when Draymond was gone. Also, when now that Moody's injured, but it's like, well, I don't know how to say it. It's like we'll just see with Klay, but he's like still essential to the squad because like our won-loss record when he shoots poorly, we suck when he shoots poorly, and so the whole thing with Klay, I'm forgetting exactly what I was going to say, but just the whole thing with Klay is I do think he'll be still a Warrior. There's more riding on him this year, and
Rich, I was just going to say I've noticed one aspect of Klay's defense that kind of set him apart more so than others was his ability to be laterally quick, either going left or right. And it seems that unfortunately the injuries have taken their toll on his ability to be laterally quick on the perimeter.
I think so. Yeah. So it just seems like he's getting a little bit older. The proverbial, your body doesn't do what the brain is telling it to do. And, I went through that when I, near my end of my amateur pickup basketball rec league career. It's like your body says go over there, and it's just that half second late. And the NBA is only getting younger, faster, stronger, more talented, more skilled. Every game, like
harder, stronger, better, faster, to quote Kanye West.
Exactly. I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies with these guys you never heard of, they are quality NBA players. They are.
And amazingly, no Steven Adams, no Ja Morant, no Marcus Smart. They're finding a way to defeat the Lakers and the Warriors.
Jacob Gilyard, I only found out, led college in steals, like the all-time leader, some to that effect.
Rich, we can't thank you enough for coming on tonight, especially given the circumstances. Yeah. We really appreciate you, man. You're a friend of the show, and I just heartfelt condolences to the Warriors family, and just thank you for coming on again. We always love talking to you, Rich.
Likewise. See you soon next time the Lakers and Warriors play.
There Absolutely. You go. Once again, it's Rich. That's it. That's right. Once again, it's Rich True from Let's Go Warriors. Truly appreciate him taking the time to talk about everything. And again, our deepest condolences to the entire Warriors family on their loss. Their game tonight in Utah is canceled, but they've rescheduled. And again, for all your latest Warriors updates, go to Let's Go Warriors wherever you get your podcasts.
Right,
once again,
thank
you again, Rich. Truly appreciate it as well. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. We are going live with our simulcast on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Also, as well, it'll be simulcast on all of our different channels. And of course, the best post game that's out there is the Lakers Fast Break. Wanted to go ahead and quickly mention that the Lakers will be playing tonight against the Dallas Mavericks right now on ABC and Sportsnet. So go ahead and check it out. Keys for the game. It's very simple, Magic Man and Rich. It is they play the same game that they played against Oklahoma City, causing turnovers, fast break points, limiting their three-point percentage. They'll get the job done tonight, indeed. So for Rich Truth from Let's Go Warriors and Magic Man Sean Grice, it's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for listening and watching as well. Please like and subscribe. Follow us if you can. And don't forget, we've got a simulcast 2 hours plus ahead for the game. And, of course, the best post game that's out there right there